Hey guys, welcome back to my cozy corner. I know it has been a while since I've posted any videos, and if you follow me only on here and not over on Instagram, you won't know what is going on. So let me update you guys. If you don't know, I have decided to post videos when I feel inspired and when I feel that I can get the best video quality out there to you guys. I was trying to get a video out every week, and I found myself having less and less ideas, less and less motivation to do it, and I felt more pressure getting it out on time than I did actually performing well. So that being said, they will be going out when I have inspiration. So that being said, this week's video is all about a huge change coming to my life. Now, this problem that I'm getting fixed has been with me since the 3rd grade, and when I was in the 3rd grade, I wanted this. I was so excited, I couldn't wait, and now being 26, I'm so over it. If you haven't figured out what I'm talking about, it's these. These and contacts are going away because I am getting LASIK. So I'm going to be filming this video kind of in a 2-part-ish segment. Same video, but it's going to be before the surgery right now and then after. So I get surgery tomorrow, but I'm going to walk you through my whole entire process. I'm going to tell you what they told me and just give you guys my opinion. Because this is something that I have been thinking about for a while, but it was really hard for me to find quality information online. So I went to my annual optometrist appointment at the end of August, and I had been tossing the idea of LASIK around for quite some time, and finally I asked her when I was there, hey, who do you recommend for LASIK? So she said LASIK MD, or there was another company that I cannot remember. LASIK MD happens to be in the same city that I live in, so I booked a consultation. Their consultations are free, so I could do either an at-home consultation or an in-house. And honestly, I figured my eyes are so terrible. Like, I legitimately cannot see past the end of my nose without glasses or contacts. I needed to go in person. Figured much easier than trying to do it over Zoom. So I booked a consultation, and I went to the consultation. They did a whole bunch of testing. I really couldn't tell you what kind of testing they did. They put drops in my eyes. Nothing out of the ordinary, really. I'm used to a lot of lights and a lot of drops, so nothing that I was like, oh God, I can't handle this. They told me I was a candidate, and they said if I wanted to proceed, they would send me over to the next lady. She would give me a rundown of the quotes that they were gonna give me and everything behind it. So I scooted on over to this lady. So we sat down and she quoted me $4,780. She's like, this is not taxable. What you see is what you pay. It also could go on my income tax if I wanted it to, as a medical write-off, and they have payment plans. They have 5-year payment plans. However, I'm not in a position that I feel like 5 years is necessary for me. So the 2-year payment plan, which is the one that she pitched me, was the one that I went with, because I feel it's best for me. So basically it was a payment plan for 0 interest for 24 months. It goes on a credit card, and you can put on as much or as little on the credit card as you want. I put it all on because that way I can pay it off in bigger chunks if I want. I figured it out, if I want to just do it monthly for the whole 2 years, it's about $200. But what I'm planning on doing is paying, the monthly, but when I have spare cash, I don't feel as stuck for cash, I might pay more. So that being said, for that, she goes, do you want to book your appointment? And I was like, heck yeah, when can I get in? She literally got me in the next week. So that appointment that I just ran you guys through was last week, last Wednesday. So anyway, they said, okay, we want to do that. We do want to run a quick test to make sure that your eyes are good, because I had kind of like a lasered surgery on the retina of my eye. So I had little holes and tears in my retina that they want to seal up, because otherwise it could lead to a retinal detachment and permanent blindness. So they sealed those holes, and although the LASIK treatment doesn't touch your retina, they want to make sure that your whole eye is strong and that there is as little risk of complications as possible. So I went in for that appointment on Tuesday, and she said, you know, your eyes look probably the best I've ever seen. So I got the go ahead, and the appointment is tomorrow. They go through how they do the laser surgery. They go through what laser surgery they think is best for your eyes and your eye needs. And they kind of just talk to you about it. Something a lot of people have asked me as well is, well, how, like, did they give you anything for it? Did they knock you out? No, you are awake. However, they do offer you a relaxant if you want it. I still haven't decided if I want it. There's a lot of pros and cons for me on both sides, so I'm still gonna be weighing my options, and I probably will likely be weighing my options until I go into surgery. The other nice thing that I really love is that the surgery takes about 5 minutes per eye. However, you're there for a few hours just to make sure that everything is good, and recovery is like 2 days. With my eyesight, my recovery was about 24 hours, so the next morning I'll wake up and I'll have about 80% of my vision back. But other than that, I am so excited. I cannot wait. I don't remember being able to see without an aid, so this is very exciting. So I'm gonna say goodbye for this segment, but the next time you'll see me, I will not have glasses, I will not have contacts. Actually, if I get a chance, I will film a brief little the morning of surgery, but if I don't, forgive me, it won't be inserted if there is, and this part will just get cut out. But if it's there, hopefully I'm not too nervous, hopefully I'm calm, cool, and collected, and I will see you guys after the surgery with my brand new eyeballs. I am here, and I am nervous. Hey guys, so it is officially 1 week after my surgery, and I thought this is the perfect time for me to come on and update you guys on how I'm feeling, how I'm seeing, how the surgery went, everything like that. So that is what I'm going to be doing in this half of this video. So I got there at 12:30 last Friday, and obviously they did all of the COVID screening, blah, blah, blah. They said they were gonna take me in to do some more testing, make sure that my vision hasn't changed drastically enough that they would affect the LASIK. Obviously some people could be going in for the initial consultation and not booking the appointment for months, years, whatever down the road. I was just lucky that it was all within the span of a couple weeks. So I went in there, they checked my prescription, everything was good. They sent me out and I waited. Eventually I had one of the clinical counselors come in. She talked about any of the finances, making sure that I wanted to put what we had set out originally on my finance, making sure I didn't want to pay anything today kind of thing. And she also gave me the drops that I needed for after surgery. They were kind enough to give the drops to me. Typically they would be about $50 extra, but silly little me in her panic only brought my finance card with me and my health card, and I was only approved for how much I'm financing, so I couldn't even pay for the drops. But they say, you know, that's pretty common, so I'm not too concerned. They're very nice, they're very understanding. Obviously there's a lot going on when you have surgery in the morning. So that being said, come out of there, I have my little bag with all my drops and everything in it, and I just wait until the nurse at the front comes. She puts a little bonnet on my head. We had a little bonding moment because she walked up to me and she goes, okay, I have to ask, because every person I've had since Corona started, especially women with long hair, don't understand what I mean when I go, can you like swoop your hair up? And I'm like, yeah, like that? And she's like, yeah, nobody else gets it. So she's like, is there a better way to describe it? And I said, no, I don't know. Anyway, that's a tangent. So she comes along, she puts the bonnet on me, and she puts a few drops of numbing drops in my eyes just to kind of prep them for the next step. So at that point, when she puts this bonnet and these numbing drops in, that means that I am the next person to go in for surgery. So she told me to message my ride, which was Dayton, and let him know to come and get me within the next half an hour. So that being said, I waited and waited, not very long, like I didn't wait like hours and hours between the time she put the numbing drops in and the time I got called in. But I got called in and I walk in and I meet the surgeon, who was very nice. It's this very like large open room with like a bed that kind of looks like it, but it has a bunch of technical stuff all over it, obviously. He said he just wants to go over a few things. He checks my eyes again, making sure that the prescription's good, everything looks good. From there, yeah, he just kind of talked to me for a couple minutes, and then he sent me to his, basically the colleague that I would say would be one under him. So he helped me get comfortable on the table. They put like a little knee support thing on under my knees for my back support, and the table then moved under this machine. Before, it was pretty low, so he put, I have no idea how much he put in my eyes, but it felt like he put probably a bottle of eye drops in each eye, like numbing drops. That's how much he put in. Like, it was so much that I didn't think I could put any more liquid in my eye. Like, it was awful. So we did that, and then they got started. So basically what they did is he told me, you know, which way the bed was moving, because depending on what step they were on, the bed had to move to this specific spot on the machine. But he taped the opposite eye shut so that it wouldn't interfere. And then he put a lens on my eye, which I would say about that thick, about that round. And they vacuum sealed that to my eye. Then they go in with the excimer laser, and this is a really fine laser that does the cut in my eye, and it makes like a flap. And then he takes his, what I think I could see, he took his like little tweezers and lifted the flap up, and then he moved me back over. They took the lens off. They replaced it with the little, what looks like little tongs to hold your eye open. Something that they did tell me too, I can't remember if I mentioned this in the first part or not, but they did tell me if you look away from the laser, the machine stops. So that's great. And then they said they were ready to begin. So another thing that they told me multiple times that day, excuse me, was that I might smell a smell similar to burning hair when the laser was on, and to not be alarmed. But yeah, that was literally what it smelled like. I just looked at this green blob and it did its thing. The laser did not hurt. It was not uncomfortable at all. The worst part was honestly the suction of the lens on my eye, because they had to vacuum suction it so hard that you lose a little bit of vision at first. That's normal. but it was just really, really, really uncomfortable waiting for the excimer laser to do the cut, have to sit there with this lens on your eye and this pressure in your eye. It's not a good feeling. It was not painful, but it was uncomfortable. And then with the laser, it was literally maybe 10 seconds. It was super quick, but yes, it did smell like burning hair. And I've noticed that anything that I've come across that smells like it's burning, also known as burning potatoes at work, that made me think of it as well. So he does that with one eye, they rinse it out, and then they do the same thing with the other eye. So same procedure, whatever. They also tell you that you could have broken blood vessels, which is pretty common. I did. So you can see it on this eye, and it was the same on this eye. It's really hard to see right now. This eye looks a little better, but they were a lot more red. This is pretty good, I would say. But I didn't notice that the first day. But yeah, afterwards, they got me off the table. I was in the operating room for maybe 20 minutes. They checked my eyes. He rinsed them with water to get any of the gunk and mucus out that was leaking. And I was on my way. I had to wear sunglasses inside and outside for the first 24 hours. I had to wear them while I was sleeping. They did recommend going home and napping because you can't do anything. You're not supposed to look at TVs, you're not supposed to look at screens, read. Really, you can't, because what it looks like is it looks like you're underwater. So if you're underwater and you open your eyes, that's kind of what I was seeing. And my eyes were extremely dry. That was one thing that they did point out, was that your eyes would likely be more dry than they ever have been. Some people get lucky, but my eyes have been dry. So yeah, once the numbing wore off, I was feeling pretty good until the numbing wore off, honestly. But once the numbing wore off, it literally felt like I'd rubbed raw onion in my eyes. The stinging was so bad and so uncomfortable. But luckily, they give you 4 drops for the first day. So they give you an anti-inflammatory, an antibacterial, lubrication drops, and then they also give you numbing drops, which you're only supposed to use for the first day. Obviously, they are very drying, so you're not supposed to use them, continually. And you're supposed to do your drops every hour until bedtime for the first day. So I actually think I missed the first hour, maybe 2 hours when I was at home, because I was just so happy to be home, so happy to be done. But anyway, that's fine. My eyes are not worse for it, thankfully. But once the stinging started, I realized I needed the numbing drops. So then I looked at the sheet and we figured it all out. So it was every hour. We had a timer set. Dayton was helping me out, handing me the drops, whatever. So I was home at like 3, or I was done surgery at 3:30. I would say I went to bed at 9:30 and the stinging had completely stopped. My eyes felt fine. I was seeing a little better, but obviously still pretty underwater-like. The next morning, we had a scheduled appointment to go back to get, to see how well my eyes were healing, if there were any problems, any infections. So I went back the next morning. I got the okay to drive. I was seeing 20/20 vision the next morning. He was surprised. He started at 20/50, which is the cutoff for driving, and he was checking it by 10 increments. He got to 20/30. He was like, yeah, you're seeing well. He went down to 20/25, and he's like, okay, we're gonna try 20/20. It's gonna be a little bit hard. It was blurry, but I was able to get every letter in the row, so he was really impressed with that. There was no infections, there was no inflammation, so I was really good to go. So then the next 4 days after the initial surgery date, I had to do my 3 drops, so my anti-inflammatory, my antibacterial, and my lubrication drops at least 4 times a day. So I was doing them breakfast, lunch, supper, and then bed. And then I could do lubrication drops as many times as I needed throughout the day, but I had to do them at least 4 times. I was finding the first days I was using lubrication drops a little bit more, obviously. I found that I used them more when I went back to work. just because I was wearing a mask, air is blowing up into my eyes, the work environment's a little bit more dry than I'm used to at home. So I did use them a little bit more frequently at work, but it is now, like I said, it's 1 week after surgery, and I used them very infrequently yesterday. I didn't feel like I needed to until it got later at night. And then I haven't used them yet today, but my eyes don't feel too terrible. The one thing that I really liked is that I can tell when my eyes are getting dry. Like, my vision does get a little bit blurry, which is normal for people with dry eyes, but my eyes feel like there's gritty or sand in it. So as soon as I notice that there's like a weird, not smooth feeling, I know it's time to put in the lubrication drops. But honestly, I'm feeling really, really good. I'm seeing really, really well. I'm seeing really, really well at night. My halos around the lights have not gone away. I would say they've gotten a little bit worse, but that is normal at night. But I am reading words at night better, which is definitely an improvement from my vision before. I was not reading anything at night before. I'm really, really impressed with everything that I went through there. Everybody that I met in the whole process was extremely nice. They answered any questions I had. They were very thorough. They were very informative, and they were just really, I felt really comfortable knowing that they really knew what their job was supposed to be, and that they, like, you could just tell. So that was something that I really, really enjoyed, being able to go into something that could be as scary as this and feeling really comfortable with the people that I was working with. So that's a plus. They did offer me like a Xanax. I did not take it. I don't really think it would have, helped me. Everybody I talked to was like, oh yeah, you should take it, but I didn't, just because everybody was saying it was so short. And honestly, I felt like I would be more in control of what I was doing than if I didn't, because I didn't know the dosage of the Xanax. There's a whole background reason why I decided against it. The only downside to it is that I think it would have helped me sleep when I got home, because I didn't sleep at all when I got home. So I think definitely if you are going through with the surgery and you can sleep, please do. Please take all advantage and sleep, because the stinging was just so intense. I could not stop crying. Like, it was just, my eyes were leaking and I couldn't stop it. So if you could sleep through that, that is 100% better, I can imagine. But I survived. There were a few thoughts after I got it done when I got home and my eyes started stinging. Like, oh my God, have I ruined my vision? Will I ever see normally again? Like, there were a few scary thoughts in my head, but overall, I'm extremely satisfied with my whole entire experience. I absolutely loved it. I highly, highly recommend it, especially for people who have really poor vision. It's 1000% worth it. Like I said, I did the calculations, and I think from the time that I started wearing contacts, which I think was around 16, I've spent the same amount of money that I spent on my eye surgery in 10 years that I have my eyes. So this is lifetime. Mine is lifetime guarantee, so I can go back and get any touch-ups that I need because my prescription was so high. Also, for those of you who are like, oh, I'm not eligible, they don't do my eyesight type or whatever, seriously look into it, because I used to think that I was not eligible because I had an astigmatism. That is not the case anymore. They do pretty much any eye issue. Like, there were, you know, if you had thinning cornea, they had something that you could do that would be very similar to what I did. If you had astigmatism or whatever, they had another option for you. They have a lot of options for people. I think there were 4 or 5 different options for laser vision correction for people who have different prescriptions and different needs and different issues with their eyes. So if you are like, oh, I'm not eligible, unless you have checked within the last like year or two, check again because you very well might be eligible this time, because I always thought that I wasn't, and obviously I am. So definitely look into it if you are curious. The consultations for LASIK MD are free, so that is where my optometrist recommended I go, and the consultations are free. So if you go and you're like, I hate this, I don't want any of it, you don't ever have to go back. Honestly, I'm super happy. I'm seeing really, really well, and I never have to wear glasses again or contacts, so that is amazing. Only other thing I can think of mentioning is that I've had multiple people say my eyes look different. I've had a lot of people say that my pupils are very like big, and actually they said that while I was getting my eyes looked at. They said, you know, your pupils are really, really big. So that's interesting. But yeah, I've had a lot of people say that my pupils look different. Dayton says my eyes look less puffy around here, which I mean, I do agree with. I have not been sleeping better than I was before, but I don't have this like huge puffiness up here anymore or underneath. And I truthfully do think that that's from the fact that I'm not putting something in my eye, like a foreign object in my eye every single day that could have dirt or whatever on it. So I'm not putting something in my eye anymore, and I'm keeping my eyes really lubricated, which I think both of those things make a huge difference. But yes, I do think my pupils look a little bit different. I've had a few other people comment on that as well, but it's not something I point out to people. I've just noticed that that's a few comments that I've had. People have been saying, oh, your pupils look bigger or they look different, but I don't think it's anything that's significantly drastic. But yeah, that is it. That is all. I'm hoping to have more videos out soon. I'm sorry that I've been kind of all over the place recently. I'd love to get back into this, but like I said on Instagram, I want to, you know, make videos that I'm passionate about, and this is something I'm passionate about. I think people who can afford and can take the time to do this should. So yeah, I only took the day of the surgery, the day after off. I could have went to work the day after that, like the third day, but I didn't. I took that day off as well. So that's another thing to keep in mind. You don't have to take off a lot of time from work unless you work in a dirty, dusty, gross environment, which could possibly affect your eyes. So that's it for now, guys. I will hopefully be back soon. I'm not going anywhere. I'm just trying to come up with creative video ideas and post them when I feel inspired. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I hope it was informative. If you know of anybody who is interested in LASIK or has really just awful eyes, send this to them. If they have any questions, if you have any questions, let me know. I'm really willing to answer questions. I'm really willing to share my story and my experience. And hopefully this inspires someone to take the leap and see if they're eligible for LASIK, because I truthfully think it's going to be life-changing for me. It already has, and it's only been a week. So yeah. All right, guys, I will see you soon. Thank you for tuning in. Bye.